their gameplay tends to look cleaner towards the end. So yeah, that's all the news coming through, Ollie. And I'm excited to kind of get into it. Draven, piloted by TooLazy, though, is a different deck coming through, and I'm curious to see how it goes. I didn't think there was too much variation for Draven, so I'm curious if we see something very, very similar or something a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. Draven's got, nothing is set by any means yet, so there's still a lot of ways you can go with it. But I think we might be seeing a slightly more aggressive version, but it's certainly gonna be interesting to see. I don't think to mention with the one-on-one, this is sort of, this is pressure because realistically, X2 is not guaranteed to make it through to the top cut, which I believe is happening, which obviously then doesn't give you a chance to qualify for the Invitational as well. And it'd feel great to be the first person that gets your name on that invitational invite. It means you can really start to test things out in the future weeklies, start to refine things, try out new cards without any sort of pressure of, I actually need to perform this week. So if you try something and it goes horrendously, it's like, okay, that's not the end of the world. We know that doesn't work. Whereas if you're not invited to the invitational, there's a bit more pressure to try and get through. And I think with that, the players are ready to go. So we can take it across to the game and get ready for this third series of the day.
Fair enough. And I feel like Ollie, you had the authority talking about that because correct me if I'm wrong, you're already qualified for the first invitational coming up in 2 weeks, aren't you? You won the first or second?
I am indeed. I came second, I believe, like the second one, and I sort of just one and done. I got in 2 days, the day after I messaged Plus about doing some commentary, and I've been in the booth ever since. So maybe I'm washed. Who knows what's going to happen? This might just be it. But no, I'm really excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun to play the Invitational. I'm quite pleased we get the opportunity now just to watch some set 2, see people cook up some decks, so I can sort of decide where I want to put my efforts. But yeah, really, really excited for that as well. It'd be cool. It'd be nice to actually get the opportunity to play some games and see what you all have to say about me.
For sure. For now, though, we are going to be focusing on the commentary part. It is going to be TooLazy piloting the Draven on the top side of the screen, and it's going to be Sam piloting the Rumble on the bottom side of the screen. And Rumble, being a new deck, it really plays around the mechs. We saw a couple of mechs in set 1, but nothing that played around it. So I'm expecting to see a lot of newer set 2 cards come in right from the get-go. That Forecaster, the 2-drop mech, giving vision to all mechs. And I think that's huge. Vision, a little bit underrated, especially in set 1. There was only really Gemcrafts here who was giving massive vision to be able to check your deck and think about whether or not you wanted that card, give you an extra option to get what you needed when you needed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is cool. I mean, people picked up on it in set 1 that, you notice above it where on a card it says, like, unit, Bandle City mech. So people did start to theory craft that there must be a reason. Yeah. They've printed that on the card. It wouldn't be there for no reason. So it's very cool to see our first sort of tribal trait come out in set 2, which is the mech. I think, like you say, it's on the surface quite a nice, straightforward ability. Your mechs have shield. People can, you can get your head around that. Similar like with Master Yi, it's +2 might kind of thing. So that's at least a good base to start, and then you can really start to play around with the deck and how it works. But I think it's a very cool idea. I like the idea of playing a deck that's very thematic. They all buff each other. They all give each other different keywords. So if you get to that board, late game when you've got a lot of the key mechs on your board, all of your mechs are going to be incredibly powerful. So I think there's some really cool combos that you can pull off here, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah, right from the get-go, though, the Gust pushing the Forecaster back, not wanting to give Sam that extra hope point. And to go back a little bit to what you're talking about, Ollie, you're talking about how Rumble straightforward, just shield to all your mechs. It kind of is that shield versus spear sort of matchup that we often see, where Draven wants to be aggressive, he wants to push in, but interestingly enough, we're seeing the Sneaky Deckhand get up, we're seeing the Gust get up. You're talking a little bit about how TooLazy's version of the Draven is a little bit more aggressive, wants to play for the early game. So it's not your traditional, just high might pushing in, overcoming things. And for the Rumble, we just got to see a Draven Renata matchup where Renata was playing the hold side, the defensive side, with combat tricks. With the Rumble, it's not about combat tricks. It is about just basic might. It's very straightforward, easy to execute. Just get your mechs up there as fast as you can, as many as you can, and just play the big numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if you covered over Draven's Legend, you would think you're just watching an Annie with the turn 1 merchant, turn 2 Sneaky Deckhand. So we're certainly seeing the usual aggro tips that we expect. We are going to see the Rumble Champion card come out. This card's really good. Just gives all mechs, including himself, +1. So just a really solid. And then when he holds, you get to play a 3 might mech token. And obviously, this is going to combo even better with Grover the Godwillow. So if we hold, we're drawing an extra card, we're getting a token. So some really, really nice combos to come in here. And we're now defending for 9. I mean, it's +2 might there. Yeah. And then actually, if Draven tries to attack in, it's going to go up to 11 because each mech will have shield. So some really big numbers already, and we're only on turn 3.
And that's terrifying when you consider that all the mech tokens that are being created are mechs themselves. So defensively, well, offensively, they're 3 might, but defensively, they're, well, actually, no, they're going to be 4 might if they're, because of the Rumble Chosen Champion. And then again, there'll be 5 might on the defense. So that's what we're talking about, just raw numbers coming through. The fact that the Rumble Scrapper is going to be creating a 3 might token every turn he holds as well is absolutely nutty. But we're used to seeing 1 might tokens. 3 might tokens are sprites, and those die at the beginning of your turns. These won't. These are permanent, and if you're getting 1 every turn, it's absolutely massive. For a Chosen Champion that's so consistent, I do feel like Rumble, it's just such a strong champion to give you a good early game and an even stronger mid game.
Absolutely. We are going to see the first of our signature spells come through. We talked about that a lot in Series 1, but when it was me and Plus, we were just talking about how I think what I like about Set 2 is a lot of those signature spells are really powerful. They're also very cheap as well, which is nice. I mean, there's a few expensive ones, but the vast majority seem quite nice, cheap, and cheerful. So we are going to see the Danger Zone there come in just to give to keep the Dangerous Duo alive. And then, late game, if you can have some combos with this, because you can repeat it, so you could give all of your mechs +2 just for 2 power. So that's some really powerful combos late game, but interesting to see it in a nice defensive manner early on, just nice and easy, which would be really cool.
And it does, unfortunately, set TooLazy a little bit behind when that doesn't get the kill. We're seeing the Traveling Merchant being pulled back with that move, the discard and draw going to come through. So TooLazy going to be continuing to look for options to be able to try and come back in. For TooLazy, it looks like he's up a point as well, just because he went first. So that's kind of massive for him. If he was behind, it'd be a lot tougher. But because he is ahead, as long as he can kind of keep Sam on just one side, on just one battlefield, you still have that sort of half-point advantage, the turn advantage, if you will.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I think there's a really big hold here. We've drawn the extra card. It does appear that I'm going to guess Rumble tokens haven't necessarily been added into into the mod yet. So we're just using a face down card, which makes perfect sense. So just for everyone at home, that is obviously a 3 might mech token, which is cool. So yeah, some really cool stuff. I also want to note, Draven's already got 7 cards in trash, so that is quite scary when it gets later on. There is the potential for that to come in with if we don't know if we're running potentially, given it's more of an aggro list, potentially the Vi Ride the Wind combo, which obviously everyone is now very familiar with the success of Annie in recent weeks. But yeah, building up a big trash already. When you combine the Merchant with the Zorn Warrens, it just cycles your deck so efficiently. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get to a stage later on. But the key with that is you do need to get to 6 points. So we're currently at 3. But yeah, certainly some progress to go. You can see playing the Gem Jammer, another card which people are raving about, a really solid 2-drop here. Any 2-drop that does something is just a great card. So now we see we've got the Ganky across, so we can trigger the Zorn Warrens ourselves and see what we can cook up here.
Yeah, and especially with the ability, we talked about the sort of defensive ability that Rumble has, to be able to just gank across like that on an open battlefield. And unfortunately, because this TooLazy is running sort of, I don't know, let's call it mustachioed Annie right now with the Draven, he does want to be pulling back quite frequently. He doesn't really want to be holding, and that gives space for the likes of Sam to just kind of gank across, hold. Interestingly enough, Rumble Scrapper being pulled back. I get it. You want to keep the Scrapper alive, but we have to remember that ability only procs when you hold. So if you're pulling it back, it's not going to give you the extra mech recruit next turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I would have probably rather just kept everything on board. But nice tech here with the Bubble Bot, another new card. So this one, when you play me, give ready another friendly mech. So you can see we're using that as a nice retreat, just to pull everything back to base and set up a really nice, strong stronghold to go in and conquer next turn. But I do agree, it's an interesting decision. You would have thought, given you're playing Grove of the Godwiller, you probably want to hold that. It is a hold-based battlefield, so a little bit interesting decision there, I must say. But yeah, just going to go in here. Draven will score his 2 points. We'll move the Merchant into Zorn, I imagine, just get the double discard coming through as well. But yeah, if we can we start moving these mechs around, we've got a lot of might sitting on the board. Yeah, we've got 4, 8, 13, 16 might currently in base for our Rumble players. So that is certainly a force to be reckoned with when they decide to get swinging next turn.
And it's worth noting as well that I feel like Annie in set 1 didn't really have great defensive options, so you often just wanted to attack, and you're using a lot of flash, fight or flight to move your units back to safety or to stop engages from coming through. But one of the big differences for Draven and for set 2 is equipment. Spinning Axe we saw come through, the quick draw that can just buff up a unit very, very quickly. Longsword that we didn't see using the quick draw part of it last game, but also as quick draw does mean that attacking into this Draven, into this traveling merchant right now, could be a little bit trickier. We also see the hidden card come down from TooLazy, so he does want to hold on that growth of the God Willow, and arguably more importantly, he does want to keep the Draven alive.
Absolutely, I think with Draven as well, you got to do so. You know, when he attacks or defends, you can recycle a red rune to then give him +2. I believe that is repeatable as well potentially, but you can certainly do it. So you got to do a bit of math there to see how strong it can be. We can see we're just gonna go in and take over. Zorn Warren's back, go up to 5 points as well, but this is starting to get a little bit scary. I'm still not sure I 100% agree with that retreat from last turn. We do see the Darius in hands. Obviously, we could have just faced a Draven versus Darius combo, which would not have felt great. So I can see the logic there, but certainly interesting. Just doing a bit of maths here, you can see is clearly thinking what with the runes up, what could the reaction be? We do, like you've touched on already, we do have potentially Spinning Axe, which would be very impactful in this position as well.
Yeah, that +3, in addition to the +2 you're already talking about, would buff them up to 9. The hidden card, I think, is also kind of what's weighing a little bit on the minds. Is it going to be just a fight or fight? Sudden Storm, a new card in the second set, deal 2 to a unit battlefield. If it's attacking, deal 4. So this is defensive, or pardon me, the Draven is defending, so it'll just be the 2 damage with the repeat.
Just see another one.
Oh, sorry, there's no repeat. Yeah, it's hidden action. So we're just getting a second one. Yeah, fight or flight to get back out.
Makes sense.
Okay. And I guess the question now is, we saw that Sam didn't want to defend last turn. What does he want to move up to defend with? Does he want to move up and defend?
Yes, I mean, of course, we've got the 4 might token as well, so we can even just put 12 might next. If you think Darius is getting to at least 7 next turn, the Draven can put himself up to 6, which gets us to 13. So if you put everything in, but I don't think you want to be trading off the Rumble Scrapper. I think that's such a key card in your combo. We're just going to currently go in with 1 unit to take control there, and start to pay 2, recycle, play the Production Surge. So another new card. We just get another token out there in base as well, which will be, instead of a 3, will actually be sat out of 4 because we do have the Rumble Scrapper in play.
And this is why I feel like Rumble is going to be such a strong legend on the set, especially early on. Again, it's just very straightforward. Like, there's no tricky mechanics like what we saw in the Renata deck. But this card, it costs 2 less if you control a mech. So it's 2 energy, 1 power. You play a 3 might unit, and you get to draw 1. There is card draw. There's another unit that comes out. And as you talked about the Scrapper being such an important card, part of it's because it gives +1 to all your units. So you're paying 2 energy, 1 power to get a 4 might unit on the board with a draw.
That's a pretty good ROI. It's got to be said. You'd be very happy. That's certainly a very good return for what you're looking for there. So that is good. We are going to see the Vi come down here, so we are playing the Vi combo. We do have 10 cards currently in trash for our Draven player, so they could go up to 13 potentially if we have the Ride the Wind combo. We're just going to send the Draven in first, and then I assume we will trigger the recycle to get him to a 6, so we can get over the 4. Because our run player is fully tapped out here, but he is on 6 points, so it's going to be an interesting decision here. I think we've done really well to balance the point tempo, because Draven can only go up to 7 now, and then it'll be pressure on Rumble to close the game out next turn. I think they'll certainly be looking to finish the game off next turn to make sure, because if you wait 1 more turn, there's a Vi Ride the Wind combo waiting for you, so that will be pretty difficult to deal with.
Now, here's the problem for TooLazy, though. Because he only goes up to 7 points on this particular turn, and he needs to get 1 more point, whereas we see that Sam's already at 6 points. Not only does he need to win and conquer these on the battlefields to stop Sam from outright winning, he actually has to hold one of those 2, or at least stop Sam from picking up both those battlefields on his turn. And with the currently combined, 17 might that Sam has on the table, not including any spells he might throw on his turn, this does get a little bit iffy. The Draven will be dropping that down to a 4. Yes, he can recycle to get back to a 6, but Darius is going to be only 5 might when defending, unless he can throw out 2 spells on Sam's turn.
Exactly. We are seeing him leave up 6 runes, so we are, obviously playing with some reaction to them ourselves. But yeah, this is going to be the deciding turn of the match, whether the Rumble can take both battlefields and score, or are we going to see a hold come through that will lead to game for our Draven player?
Okay, and yeah, so the draw just coming in from the Zon Warrens right now. It is still TooLazy's turn. He still has 6 runes up and available, but now he's conquered on both sides. So unless he's kind of reinforcing one side with just adding extra units to come through, and frankly, if you've seen Annie, you know she doesn't do the whole great. A lot of it might just come down to the reactions, what spells you have available. We talked about the fight or flight potentially. We've already seen one come through. Do you hide one of those? The spinning axes, long swords, like we were talking about, you can play those on your opponent's turn as well. So yeah, I think that there's a very real world in which he just passes over. No, he's dropping the Darius. This gets kind of iffy. Hidden card coming through, and we've already seen one fight or flight. Does Sam have enough to get over all of us?
Yeah, double Draven with a hidden card is very scary. There are also going to be a lot of one-cost spells that the Draven can react with here as well, just to potentially ready those Dariuses, because if you flip the first one, if you flip the hidden card and then you play anything from your hand, those Dravens are going to be defending for 14. So that is pretty scary. I don't know. I don't think there are any sort of accelerate mechs that could potentially come down here for the Rumble player. So it's just a matter of, do they have enough? I mean, they do technically mathematically have enough on board, but in practice it could be quite tricky with all the different combat tricks that we're going to see. I think one of the key cards here, we've seen it already once, Danger Zone would be massive because you've got 4 potential attacking units, so that would give us +8 if we repeated it. But we're going to just start with the Superfly, take it nice and easy, draw a card.
Yeah, and I think for Sam right now, he's looking for spells like we saw the Sudden Storm earlier, that was able to kind of deal 2 damage. What other? I know there's the other. What was it called? Blast? No, there's a unit which does damage in Fury from the new set. It was Blast something or other, where if you played it, you could deal 2 damage to a unit if you recycled.
Blast Corpse Cadet is the card that we're talking about. So yeah, when you so two mana, 2 might. When you play me, you may recycle a red as an additional cost. If you pay the additional cost, deal 2 to a unit. So you can potentially do that as well. But we are going to see Dangerous Duo come through. So this is cool. Obviously, already a sort of fringe-ish card from set 1, but obviously it's a mech, so very good. We will see it will take the Draven, so we got up to 7 ourselves. And then it's just a matter of, can we find a way to get over these Dariuses is the question. We're going to see another Stupefy come through to put the Darius down to 6. So we've got 13 total might from the Rumble side. Obviously, there is the hidden card as well, which is slightly concerning. We're going to continue to pay more. What are we doing here? There we go. Speak of the devil. There we go. So there comes in our Cadet Corpse. We've then got 1 rune left to play with to see what we can do here.
Okay, it's only 2 damage, and I'm going to assume at this point that Sam's likely just going to swing with everything he's got in there. So he's got, what, the 5, 4, and wasn't it the 4 there? So
yeah,
a grand
5, 4,
total.
4. So we're swinging for 13 against 9 current might. I do think there was an issue that we may have been in a lot of trouble if there's a fight or flight hidden under this card, which I think is what it's going to be. So let's see if we can.
I mean, if you're facing a nanny, that's the assumption that that's a flight.
Yeah, so now
hidden. Yep, there you go.
It's technically not 9 against 8 because obviously the Darius has 2 damage on it. Oh, that yeah.
There we go.
They're both getting 2 might, and that will probably be game. I think here. I don't think we could. Now the Dariuses will both ready themselves. So now it's going to be defending for too much.
Yeah, that was always the risk. When you see the double Darius up there, normally you only want Darius kind of to be offensive and you want to pull him back to safety. But when you've got that hidden card, when you're talking about those 1-cost spells that you were mentioning earlier, Ollie, the Blood Rush being one of them, that's going to be 14 on the defense, 13 because of the Stupefy. That's more than enough. And with the Vi already sat in base, 14 cards in the trash heap right now for TooLazy. Yeah, once it passes over, he's ready to just roll right on in. Yep. In fact, the Darius is just holding was the win point already.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a shame. I'm not sure I 100% agree with the retreating we did earlier. I think with Rumble Scrapper, I think you've got to try and keep the hold there because I think it was too easy just to let the Draven get a lot of points. But we'll see more and stuff in game 2 and see what adjustments are made amongst us hidden in the deck.
I love the flavor text too on Hextech Played. It's just I am a mech.
I know. Yes. But thankfully, that's a ruling we can all understand. A nice, simple, very clear. So I don't think there'll be any judge calls surrounding that one, hopefully. But So very interesting stuff. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if that gets played, because I think that would be the version that maybe I would personally lean towards. I haven't tested it myself much, but I certainly will be, because I am, like I said, a big Rumble enjoyer in general. But yeah, it'd be cool to see if we get anything like that. And, yeah, when we start to see some decks start to rise in future dates when it gets a bit more refined, it'd be cool to see what we're working with.
Okay, we are into game 2, and it will be Sam kicking things off since he did lose the first game. But the battlefields are interesting to me, all because we've got the Windswept Hillock coming through from the side of TooLazy, and I think that surprised me a little bit less, considering we're seeing it's sort of the buy combination to come through. But from Sam, it's actually the power nexus that we did see with the Renata. It made a lot of sense with Renata, but with Rumble, I guess you're just trying to hold on there and then score the extra point to get ahead, especially when you're going first as well. I do think it feels like you're almost a turn and a half ahead if you can pay that power cost.
Absolutely. I think we're actually going to see a really great combo here. Getting the bubble bot down and being able to move the forecaster up to the power nexus to start the whole process there. I think this makes a lot of sense. I mean, we're clearly seeing that the Rumble is aiming for a hold strategy. We saw it last game with the Grove of the God Willow. We're seeing it this game here. So I like the idea. I'm all for playing a sort of a hold structure. But it's just going to be interesting to see if we can establish those big holds. And then more importantly, if the Draven is able to break them, is there going to be any sort of reaction there? Or is it sort of a gamble strategy where you're just trying to make sure that you hold for the entire game?
Well, right from the get-go, with now Draven on the board for TooLazy, there's that threat to push in. And for Sam, he's going for these early points. He's going to move that bubble bot up there just to get the point. It's not going to be able to survive, most likely, into the Draven without some sort of combat trick. But as we've seen so far, the Rumble deck, we talk about it being very straightforward. It doesn't have a ton of combat tricks. It's more like, okay, I've got my units. What you see is largely what you get.
Exactly, yes. I'm not seeing a lot of... we didn't see a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously, Red does have typically a lot of aggressive combat tricks. We didn't see a ton of them in the game 1, so it'll be interesting to see if we are running things like the Falling Stars, like sort of the classic, red spells that we're so familiar with, to see if we do have some answers just to be able to deal with some units on the board. Obviously, we're seeing Stupefire, which is great because obviously it draws a card, which is very nice, but we are seeing our first seal come down, which is actually our first seal of the day, which is quite surprising because the seal prices are absolutely skyrocketing. For anyone who's been keeping an eye on it recently, luckily I was quite lucky. I bought a Seal of Unity for like £9 the week of release for my baited hook deck, and now it's worth nearly 30. So it's absolutely, you've got to invest wisely. But thankfully I managed to get it when it was 9 and not 30. But yeah, definitely people are seeing all the equip costs, they're seeing all the gears, all the power costs, and thinking, yes, seals are going to be very, very popular. I'm sure they will be. I think we're going to see a lot more seals get play in set 2 than we did in set 1 for the most part.
And it's interesting too, when set 2 introduced sort of the gold tokens that came in that can pay for power costs. We actually saw that in the first 2 series of the day, where there was a lot of gold token generation that was paying for a lot of things with the Sivir, with the Renata, heck, even with the Draven to a certain extent. So seeing the seal come through as well, Rumble probably one of the few decks that doesn't have a lot of those gold token generations from set 2. We'll have to rely on those good old seals. For now, though, okay, a little bit of confusion that's coming through. I guess there may be a bit of a reaction coming through from Sam.
Yeah, I think we've attacked him with the bubble bot, and then obviously Draven's triggered his ability to ready. His ability to give himself +2. So we just sent our own mech into the abyss potentially. We are going to have to burn the danger zone early, which is not what you really want to be doing. We're going to have to do it twice. Even if we do it twice, we still just trade.
Yeah, but I think a trade is kind of worth it if you can catch Draven a little bit off guard there. We've seen the Draven, for Draven decks, be such a strong early game tool to score those early points. And 6 might on potentially sort of turn 2 or turn 3 is when you have to start dealing with it, is definitely a hard sort of threshold to overcome. Now, the problem is there's still quite a few cards in TooLazy's hands, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy up. There's so many different tools you could use, right? Like the spinning axe could come out, longsword could come out. It's going to be the blood rush just for the assault for now, and that's more than enough to overcome the buffs from the danger zone.
Yes, I would say that was actually probably quite an ambitious danger zone there from the Rumble. I think you're staring at 7 cards in hand. They've got 2 quick draw they available to them. They could even just answer it with like something like a fight or flight, and you've ended up deramping yourself twice. So can't say I'm a massive believer in that play. I think that was definitely maybe a bit desperate. We don't know what the hand looks like, but yes, not the strongest of positions to have ourselves in now for our Rumble player, unfortunately.
You know what, though, Ollie? I respect Sam thematically. Danger zone to get you down to 3 runes. That is true. Accurate to lore and is indeed zone.
Yeah, yeah, definitely agree with that. We were certainly in the danger zone there. I could hear the riff on the guitar from behind me just echoing as he made that play. But yeah, certainly interesting. I'm not sure Maverick would have exactly done it that way, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, an interesting play. An interesting play. I think it may be worth pointing out that his deck name on Pillar of Archives is I Have No Idea Part 3. So I think we've certainly done some testing to figure out. But we get the scrapper on board, so at least we know. I think this is from watching this the card of the deck. I think this is such a pivotal unit. The idea is obviously in a dream world you have quite a wide board with lots of mechs, and then you play this, all the mechs get bigger and harder to deal with. And I like the idea of that combo. It's just always a bit tough when you get it on board with just one single mech token in base.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I do think that Sam also was playing with fire again last turn. He moved up the mech token to try and score. It got bounced with fight or flight, but at 3 might, it could have been taken out with a gust. And he played Scrapper after that, so he wasn't technically over the threshold. Now, gust against Rumble doesn't feel that good because there's not like a ton of things to knock back. There are quite a few stronger units to come out as the game goes on, especially with the +1. So maybe the gusts got sideboarded, but I mean, it's still a big risk to take. And now because it got fight or flighted back, we're seeing TooLazy actually pull ahead a little bit in the point lead. Considering he was going second, he's now 4 to Sam's 3, and with the double Dravens ready to roll as well. It's a tough take. You know, if you want to go for that, chances are you might end up losing that scrapper that you just played out that you're talking about being so pivotal to Rumble's deck.
Absolutely, and we just see the simple pass coming out of Draven here with 6 runes up with 4 cards in hand. It either means he's got a shed load of combat tricks or his hand sucks. So it's it's going to be one of those 2 options. I'm going to lean probably more towards the former in the sense that there's definitely a few combat tricks sitting in that hand. But you just never know. But we've got so many things now that can react with, like you say, the 2 long swords. I think the quick draw is a really cool keyword. I'm glad there's another way to sort of play the equipment. I think that's a really cool addition. And you've also got things like hard bargain as well that can counter a spell. So you've got a few nice combos here. We are going for the big singularity here. This would be a huge swing if this can come through. But we already see getting ready to tap some runes.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if that would be the hard bargain.
Yeah, I was about to say that would be a great foreshadowing of the hard bargain there.
Yeah.
Especially because, well, the thing with hard bargain is, you know, there's been some mixed discord on how good it is. Obviously, it only counts the spell if the opponent doesn't pay 2. When you have 7 runes up and you play a singularity, it's very, very good because your opponent can't pay the extra 2, so you just get it. You can just counter a singularity for free, basically. But interesting, we go with the double longsword onto the Draven there, just to keep it alive. It does currently have 6 damage on it, so it's certainly worth trying to deal with the leftover HP in any way that we can. Maybe the card you mentioned last game that I've already forgotten the name of, the Blast Corpse Cadet, would be enough to come through and finish that off. We've only got 1 rune left, haven't we? So we dire straight. But I think if we potentially trade in with the token here, the only risk is if you go in now and you don't kill it, you're in a really bad spot because obviously it will heal. I think is one of the main things that you have to be wary of this game is like, when does the unit heal? Because I've made the mistake myself, and I've seen the mistake be made where they kind of don't forget that and don't play around it.
Oh, is it? Okay. Ride the win over. So that's going to be a point to both sides, and I really like this coming through from TooLazy, because originally I was thinking, okay, TooLazy is just doing the hard bargain the manual way. So instead of the 1 card, he's kind of buffing it up and saying, like, you got to run something into this, and I could potentially set you behind. But Ride the Win allows him to score, speeding things up. And I think more importantly, he's on the power nexus now. So if he keeps up like this, he can potentially, you know, use the power nexus against Sam. That's Sam's battlefield, and you can pay that cost. You can go up, you know, to 6 to 7, be able to win out. If you want to pay the 6 now, get the buy down, get ready for sort of the last turn run. You've got enough runes to do that too.
Yeah, personally, I'm quite greedy, so I'd be quite tempted. But I think
Yeah.
I would just want to activate it because I think it'd be a fun thing to say. Oh, I activated Power Nexus in this one game I played. I can clearly see he is choosing not to do that because deramping 4 also doesn't feel great. But yeah, this is starting to look a really dangerous position here. And actually, it does feel bad as the Rumble player not to have the Power Nexus. I think he's actually bailed out quite a lot by the fact that Draven's running Windswept Hillock because at least he can gank across. If this was any other battlefield and you were trapped there, the Draven would feel very comfortable just sitting on Power Nexus and getting ready to close the game out. But I think it's correct decision. Retreat here. We know he's got Windswept Hillock, so he can gang across and just set up for a big combo finish next turn to close out the series.
And even with what he has right now, that Draven is effective 10 when it actually starts the fight. So that's already enough to clear out the Windswept Hillock if there are no combat tricks to come through. Interestingly enough, no Vi being played by TooLazy, so he didn't quite have the finisher combo ready to be able to just sweep up and end things. And that's going to allow Sam to catch up a little bit, get to that 6 points as well. We talked about how Rumble is strong on the defense. So is he going to continue adding up onto the Power Nexus, being on that side? The coin keeps flipping, the tables keep turning. We keep talking about how strong the Power Nexus is, and we talked about, okay, he had it at first, that's one of his win cons, and then now TooLazy got it, opted not to pay for it. Well, now it's Sam back on it at that critical 6 points. If he holds there, he wins the game.
Yeah, exactly. I was just on the same thing. Now that we're back on board with the Power Nexus, all we have to do is hold it, and the game is over. Because we can just trigger Power Nexus next turn and win the game. So really interesting position here. Definitely gives some big decisions to do. We are seeing the Draven, only has 2 cards in hand. So you say, we did play 2 longswords and Ride the Wind last turn. So we played a lot. Oh, here comes the Mega Mech. This is a mech that everybody knows. What a great, that's the thing with the mechs. There are some really good top end. You've got Mega Mech. They've just released a new one called Breakneck Mech, which gives all of your mechs deflect and ganking, which is very powerful. So you've got some nice top end here. But yeah, now we're defending for 18 plus a hidden card. So this is quite a scary situation if you are Draven, because like you say, you've got to find a way to get onto this board. You can't sit just take Windswept Hillock and score a point. You need to try and make a swing. We're only seeing 8 cards in trash so far, so not the biggest Vi. We could get it up to 11 if we have Vi and another Ride the Wind. So yeah, certainly a bit of a dangerous position to be in.
Oh, that's the problem. 8 in the trash means your Vi is only 11, and Mega Mech is going to be a 10 on the defense. So just a basic unit. Yeah, just the basic unit is already kind of enough to answer the Vi. Not to mention, okay, I'm not sure what hidden cards a Rumble deck runs, but we did see the Sudden Storm earlier, and we saw it being used offensively, but it is a hidden card, and when you're attacking, it does 4 damage instead of the 2 damage. So that might be enough to kind of mess up TooLazy's plan, but TooLazy doesn't have options. He has to crash in. Like, if there's any units there, if it's hold, you lose. If it's not held, at least you buy yourself one more time, because Rumble doesn't, or at least we haven't seen any accelerates come through from the Rumble. So you have one turn for yourself to try and set up as well, once again, potentially for that Vi Ride the Wind combo. I assume that's what you're looking for at that 6 points.
Yeah, definitely. So we do see the Void Seeker come through to start with. We're seeing the classic Darius is in for 5, so we've now got 15 on the board against the 14, but it will go to 16 because of the shield. So we still don't have enough at the moment. From Draven, we've got 2 runes up. We've got things like, we've seen Hard Bargain. No, it was not Hard Bargain. No, not Hard Bargain. I'm thinking of Blood Rush. Sorry, the one that gives us Assault plus 2 potentially. So we could still see that come down to give some extra might to try and get over the finish line. But yeah, certainly a bit of a dangerous decision. 1 rune up for the Rumble could be another danger zone, perhaps. You know, we saw that earlier in the game as well. So yeah, just you always think of 2 as sort of the magic number. There's still a few things that can happen with 1. So we're certainly interested in what sort of answers we have here. I mean, you have to try and make a stand because otherwise you lose. So
yeah, very much not optional on the side of TooLazy.
No, exactly. This is not a we can just spend a turn setting up. This is we need to go. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see. I'm waiting for them just to highlight everything and just sort of swing it and pray will probably be the answer. But let's see if we can do anything.
He doesn't have enough as is right now, though, because that's 16 might on the defense from.
Yeah, exactly. The shield plus 1's the difference.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got the hidden card coming in as well. I mean, if the hidden card is what we saw earlier, the Sudden Storm. It only deals damage, doesn't necessarily reduce the might, so that doesn't have as big an impact, because at the moment you're trading, you're losing / trading anyway. It would just be a matter of, do we have some sort of 2 might buff? Do we have a spinning axe? Do we have a longsword? Do we have a blood rush, just to try and get over those numbers? That's sort of the only hope we've got at the moment.
Not gonna lie, Ollie, with the amount of time TooLazy is taking to think about this, I think he might not have the buff he needs to actually swing this. Maybe he's got a stack deck and he's trying to think what his options are coming up with the draw. Stack deck potentially with the 1 if you can hit another blood rush.
Yeah, it would have to be. It would have to be blood rush, and then you wouldn't be able to repeat the blood rush either, which would feel a bit bad. But yes, this is certainly a long time to be thinking about it when the maths is fairly straightforward.
15 to 16. That's the current maths.
Yeah, that is where we stand at the moment. So yeah, for everyone, if someone's just tuned in now, it's Draven's turn. We are debating whether to make the final push. If Rumble does hold, they will win because they have Power Nexus.
Okay.
There is the Blood Rush. Okay, so we're going to give Draven Assault 4. So the maths is now back in our favor because we're going to swing in for 12 with Draven. So 19 against 16. This would mean that I keep forgetting the card's name. We keep reading every 2 seconds.
Sudden Storm?
Sudden Storm, thank you. Would lead to a trade. Because it would mean we do the same amount of might. So we're going in with the Draven first for 12. Okay. We can then recite. Oh, of course, we can actually use the Draven's ability, which we both got. We can actually go up to 14.
Right.
So we're now 14 against 16, assuming we remember that they both have shield. Yep, there we go. So 14 against 16. So we can choose what to trade into. I'm guessing the trade is just going to kill the Mega Mech, and then Draven goes in. Sorry, Darius goes in 7 against 6 against the Rumble, which would be enough. But let's see if we have any answers in hand for our.
Wait, no. Wouldn't you want to swing with both? Because if you're doing it this way, you're going to lose both the Sudden Storm. Oh no, but then you reattach the longswords.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually very clever. I was thinking the same thing. That doesn't make a difference. Actually, it does, because yes, it very much does. Because now you can swing in with Darius. Darius goes up to 9, 11 against Rumble 6. So even with the Sudden Storm, you still survive on 1 HP. So really good job doing it. Assuming there's no answers here, that's an excellent job doing the maths very specifically there, and good sequencing as well. I hadn't even thought about the trade the Draven re-equip to Darius. So yeah, very, very impressive. Clearly, someone has been studying up.
You know, not only like for any kids who are watching this is why stay in school and learn your maths right, because it helps. It really does. So does the logic. I didn't hearing about the equipment. I didn't think it was going to add that much complexity to the game. But the fact that equipment doesn't get lost when then the unit carrying the equipment dies does complicate matters a lot, and certainly does add a lot more complexity to this, which is why I think the math. Perhaps that's why TooLazy was taking a bit more time, because he was seeing the angle that we weren't, right? He remembered the Draven passive, he remembered these equipments and what he was going to be able to do about that. Stupefy to come out, the card draw. Is that enough? That's 10 damage total.
Why did the Draven go to... Yeah, so the Draven... So the Darius came in... Yeah, that's a trade now. That's a trade.
Yep. Okay. So the game goes on, and that's critical for both of them.
The game goes on as... Okay, we important to know, I know it's confusing. I keep forgetting because it's a face down card. We do still have a 4 might token in base, or it should be 3 might. It should be 3 might now that the Rumble scrap is gone. But we can do it again. Go back in. No, don't go into Hillock. Go into the Power Nexus. Wait, he might have the ready one. He might have the ready token.
Oh, Forecaster! It readies up. Oh no, wait, yeah, that's not Bubble Bot. That's what we're thinking of.
Yeah, Bubble Bot. We need a Bubble Bot, and then it's game over because we can use the Windswept Hillock with ganking to score both. Come on, play the Bubble Bot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Gem Jammer still not quite enough. We've got Vision again.
I think he's just trying to hold on the Windswept Hillock side. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. At this point, it doesn't matter because you're on 7, so I think we are just trying to hold. I was getting really excited then that we were going to see a Bubble Bot, but sadly not. We asked for the Production Surge as well come through to help us draw a card, which we will know what this card is because of Vision, so that's very cool as well. Yeah, I think Vision's a very cool ability. I think one of the coolest things I saw at Houston actually was from Alan ZQ, who conquered Candlelit Sanctum, saw Thermobeam, put it second top of his deck when he was playing against Aurora. The Aurora on their turn dropped the Sabotage, and then obviously because it was on the top of his deck, he didn't have the Thermobeam. Next turn, drew the Thermobeam, immediately played it, and I was like, that was some really impressive stuff. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with the Vision, but that is enough. The Draven scoops, they didn't have enough to get over it again. A big hold comes through, and we are going to a game 3. Let's go, Rumble.
Ollie, I believe Plus has said there's about 13 minutes left for this round. So this is interesting because in the open, we do not have OT. So given how close this matchup has been and how it's been just going back and forth with this, I'm really curious to see if the players are mindful of the time and try and just blitz and score those extra points at that critical 13 minutes. TooLazy as well, having lost that last game, will get to choose whether they go first or second. The battlefields that we are seeing, it's going to be the arena's greatest for TooLazy, which makes sense, right? He's been trying to play a bit faster. With the chaos, the sneaky deckhands and all that, you can do that very effectively. But for Sam as well, Obelisk of Power, giving the additional ramp, I feel like that gets really risky when Arena's Great is on the table, because now we can see a turn 1 sneaky deckhand just come out and score a point right from the get-go.
Yes, but we've just seen a 3-rune pass from Draven coming out turn 1. That is never what you want to see happen. I mean, we see, especially when you combine it with having the deckhands as well to come out early, that feels really bad. And then Rumble start with 4 runes. Interesting, we see Rumble go with the Obelisk of Power, which is cool. I mean, like I said earlier, Rumble does have some good top end with things. We saw the Mega Mech come out. We saw a few other things. I'm not sure if it's necessarily enough to justify playing Obelisk, but definitely interesting. We see we can establish 2 bodies turn 1, which is great. So we've got a nice presence on the board already. And then we just see the Draven bring out his chosen champion turn 2. So a very slow start from our aggro deck at the moment.
Yeah, and that might come back to bite TooLazy really badly. With the 2 drops coming out already, the 2 drops coming out from Sam as well, he's going to be able to take both battlefields. And like we talked about, given how the games have gone, this might just run into overtime. A turn 2 singularity only on a single target. And you know what? I don't hate it. Take that Draven out.
You can't see my face. My jaw just hit the floor. That was... I mean, I thought... Okay, great. We played the seal. We're going to bring out the Rumble Scrapper and we're just going to chill. That is insane. We have just seen a turn 2 singularity to just kill the Draven. I'm not sure I'm sold on that. I'm gonna have to get some feedback. I mean, it does give a lot of tempo. So we are now on we're on 3. We're up to 5. No unit from Draven.
Well, that's the thing, Ollie, right? It's a singularity, but you knew that, unfortunately for TooLazy, he didn't have any cheap units he could play. He relied on that Draven. So you take that out and you're gambling that, okay, he doesn't have another unit he can play on the next turn. And now, suddenly, Sam is up 5-7. He's going to score again unless there's a ride the win combo that can come through.
Yeah, I feel bad. I hope Draven shows us his hand at the end of the game. He has 7 cards in hand and has proceeded to play 1 Draven from it in the first 4 turns. This is horrendous. This must be the worst. Like, what? I'm curious to see. I mean, this can just happen in card games. Sometimes, okay, so we know there's a gust. That makes a lot of sense. That's one thing dealt with. But what a brutal combination of hands this is. We're seeing the chat. We can see a lot of GGs coming out. This is crazy. I agree, guys. This is mental. I think, I stand corrected. Rumble knows everything. That was the greatest similarity I've seen. When you know your opponent just doesn't have cards in hand, that is the perfect time. We're on 6 points and it's turn 4. I don't think we need to worry about overtime anymore. This is insane.
No, and Ollie, to add insult to injury right now, Scrapper held. So you get the extra 3 might or 4 might with Scrapper's buff as well. So, 6 points up, you're just chilling as Sam right now. You could pull everything back and go for sort of the winning play after. I mean, granted, Draven is equally good on defense or offense, but at least you've got, options if you want to do it that way. But it looks like Sam is just going to go for both these sides. I don't think you can hold both of them. Okay, there we go. There's 7 points. So yeah, he's just spreading out right now because he just needs to hold 1 of these battlefields.
Yeah, I like that. You got to put the pressure on. You can see we're clearly going for a big hold at the top here, which is nice. And then we are just swarming the board. We've got another unit. Oof. Yeah, I think this might be the quickest game that I've seen. I mean, I don't
That's
think there's, I mean, this is a great, yeah, Rumble's tempered out well, but I feel for our Draven player. There is clearly not a lot going on in his hand that he could have dealt with, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of equipment and things get played now. I guess he must have a few spells as well, but yeah, this has been a brutal sort of just combination of cards that we've seen come down, and it's on Arena's greatest as well, so the game's even quicker. So yeah, Rumble has absolutely stolen the show here, and going second on Obelisk into turn 2 Singularity to absolutely destroy everything this Draven had set up for. What an incredible play.
Yeah, it's like you're expecting Rumble to play slow. You're expecting to build up like huge mechs like Gundams or whatever. And meanwhile, you've got Sam over here playing just battle bots, like just scrap heap, whatever you can put together, check it out, good enough. There's 21 effective might there on the defense. So you can see all the hands hovering as they're trying to do the math. Like how much would you have to buff up that Draven? He's going to be 6 going in and attacking. He's already got the longsword, which is another 2. So he's going to be up to 8. But you still need another 13 might coming from somewhere. Anywhere.
Just need to find a 13 might, just as you do on your day out. We are seeing some great stuff in chat. I like the comment, is this when you're 10-0 top lane? It says GG close game at the end. Which is a great comment. I'm a big fan of that. It's a good stuff. Let's get ready to rumble. I've got that song stuck in my head now. I'm just singing it. But yeah, clearly the dream. All you need to do is just play a turn 2 Singularity and have your opponent have 7 cards in hand with no units. This is an unbeatable strategy. I've got a lot of respect that this game is. I mean, unless I don't really. The game is still going. I'm a bit confused as to why. I guess we get to draw a card and maybe. I mean, how much? There's just no way we can get over that. 4 units will get plus 4 shield as well. So we're going to be defending for 16 plus 4, 20.
So 9 energy up, Ollie, and you need to reserve 2 for Ride the Wind because that's the only way you're going to be able to move that Draven over that I can think of. So you've got 7 energy left. Have we seen a blood rush this game? I don't think we have, right?
We haven't seen anything from the Draven in this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it's a Gust and a Draven that's in his trash. So theoretically, if you somehow got 3 blood rushes, you could get up to assault. What is that? 4 times 3, assault 12. 12 plus the 8 gets you up to 20. And would that be enough? He's riding the wind over right now, but we're going to see what options he's got.
We can use his ability again to recycle another red. So we're up to 10. It is going to be something like, it's going to have to be something like double, but we see all the shields come through now as well. Yep. So we're up to 20. So first one. Okay. 14.
That's one. Okay.
Yep, all right, double. Okay. 18. Oh no. Oh no.
He might do it, Ollie. I mean, if he didn't have units, he had to have something else, right? So
we've still got 3 runes. Surely we've got just play a spinning axe. Play the spinning axe. Oh, this is unbelievable.
Tap 2 more. Oh, I mean, if you got a spinning axe and 1 more blood rush, that would put him to 21. That would be enough.
Oh,
he's looking. He's looking.
He's digging for it.
I believe, Ollie. I believe. This is why he didn't surrender, because he knew there's a chance.
He can hit blood rush. He can hit spinning axe.
If he gets the blood rush, like, oh, okay, he got something.
Final fight. Okay.
That works.
You just fight the rumble.
I think you want Scrapper up there. You want to take that out. So you're gonna kick something that doesn't, because he's got enough might otherwise.
Sorry, no, sorry, you're absolutely right. You definitely want to kill that. Yeah. Oh my god.
I can't believe this. The problem is, Ollie, though, that is for 1 turn on the offense. Now, he's tapped out going to the next turn, and there is a 3 might mech as well as a 2 might gem jammer.
It's still not looking great, but I would say this is why I think in that scenario, I like the full retreat. I think there's just... Don't let there be any combination of cards that lose you, that put you in this position. I think it's a Draven deck. It only really plays aggressive tricks like Ride the Wind, like Blood Rush. So you just don't have that issue. If he's sat there defending for 4 and you go in, he's not getting to 20. Whereas if you defend, he can potentially, as we saw there, get up to near 20. He actually has he's topped that, hasn't he? This is gonna be another Singularity. Oh no, it's not. Okay, I thought that would be unbelievable. Oh, this is first time I get to see this guy. This is the other big one. So this is breakneck mech. Your mechs have deflect and ganking, and he also enters ready if you control a mech. And there he is.
Yep.
Oh, he had the singularity anyway. He showed it to us. Oh dear. Well, I mean, that was probably one of the
GG.
funniest matches I've seen. I mean, that was. I feel bad for the Draven player there because he put on a great series
Yeah.
in the other games. It's just nothing you can do sometimes when the TCG gods look down on you like that. That is yeah, that is rough to have 7 runes to be passing. But yeah, great effort, great win for the Rumble.